Welcome back. Moving on to our second segment for today, youth empowerment. And when we talk about youth empowerment, we have to say that this is not a luxury anymore. Under the directives of President Abdel el-Sisi, the state given much priority to the youth in general, giving them all the needs to prepare them for the future, to be leaders of the future, whether we're talking about innovations, developments, conferences, many things where youth can participate and express themselves. Well, first of all, allow me to welcome our guest here in the studio. We have Aliaa Mohamed Abdel Hamid, one of the youth cadres, Egyptians, who's living in the United States.
Yep.
And you are here for a vacation, right?
Yeah.
Good morning. So first of all, how has Egypt's youth vision evolved from your own point of view? And of course you are following in the States.
Yeah, in my point of view, I feel that it changed so much that I feel that youth nowadays are more seen and more respected and valued. They're given more opportunities, and yeah, like I feel they're more seen overall.
So what are the goals of empowering youth?
I feel that the goals is to give the youth Egyptians an opportunity to lead Egypt and give them kind of a perspective on how things are going to work, and they make them build their own future with their own hands so that they lead moving on with the next generations.
Did you follow on with the youth conferences taking place in Egypt?
Kind of, yeah.
So how do you see these conferences, and how far can this shape policy as well?
I feel that it gave a very strong opportunity for youth people to give out their ideas, to show what they think, to show what they feel, to express their ideas, and it definitely made youth people feel that it's a chance to be seen, especially that the president was there and he was watching everyone, that their ideas was listened, and some of these ideas were actually made and approved and was actually made into a plan.
Well, as being one of this young generation, how do you feel when you are listened to and your points are respected, and that you are discussing many important points that we can say decision-making points? How do you feel about this? Will this change the personality or your concepts in general?
Yeah, it definitely would make me feel more confident, more I'll feel safer, more supportive. I'll be able to express how I feel or my ideas or share my point of views way more than how I wouldn't if I didn't feel seen.
So you think the youth were able to reach decision makers in general, or any of their ideas were able to be accepted and change any of reality in general?
100%, because nowadays most of the youth people I know, they all have their own startup businesses. If not, then they're volunteering in some sort of stuff that back a couple years ago they were not allowed to do, or they were their age was not old, they were not old enough to be able to volunteer or do all these kind of stuff. But I feel nowadays anyone could do whatever. So many startup businesses are made by youth. So many local brands, businesses like the AI stuff.
Well, when we talk about the youth in general, and definitely talking about the social responsibility, as you mentioned, and of course you studied for quite some time here in Egypt, then you moved on to the States, so you tried both. And nowadays we can see in Egypt we have many of the schools now, not only the private schools but the public schools, and they started to adopt the concept of the social responsibility, preparing the children, not teens, to start their own things, to start participating or being part of the community. How do you see this, and how do you feel the difference still in education?
Even when I was a part of my school here in Egypt, they always taught us to be ourselves and to try to be as emotionally, financially, mentally, and everything independent on ourselves, so we don't have to depend on anyone else. And I think that it's more of a thing now, more than it even used to be like a couple years ago when I was a part of the school. Everyone, like all the kids, they all have plans for their future from now. Even like some 13-year-olds or 14-year-olds, they already have their own business or they're planning for it. So I think that that's a huge thing, and it's definitely relying on like the education and how they are taught in school.
So this changed the personality as well?
Yeah, 100%. Because if they don't feel seen, then they won't have the confidence to do anything. If they don't feel like they're appreciated or they're accepted in the community, then they'll be like, okay, then there's no point of me doing anything.
So when we talk about Egypt, and of course, as we know, we have some of the presidential leadership programs who are preparing youth, and they are already taking some important positions in Egypt. How do you read this?
I would rate it a very, like, I'm so proud, even if I'm not a part of it, I'm so proud that people my age could take a step in doing all of, like, being in front of the president, sharing their ideas, sharing their startup, feeling that they're respected and their ideas are valued. And I know, I'm pretty sure a couple of these ideas were actually made in real life and used. And then now that youth feel that, oh, I can make my own decision, oh, I could start up my own business, it just makes everyone just feel more confident within themselves.
So how do you see the role of the private sector in this respect? In training, in giving more chances, because you remember in the beginning we were talking about volunteers as well. And of course, when we talk about social responsibility, we have seen now all of the corporates, the multinational corporates, they adopted again the concept of the social responsibility, and by this they are opening the way for more volunteers. And we know that also when you join university, you need some grades for your social responsibility to enter universities. Tell us more about it.
I was surprised when all my friends this summer told me, oh, I have internship, oh, I have to volunteer in like this bank or in this company or in this or that, just so they could take credit for college. It made me feel like how we're advanced at this point, that we need more hands-on stuff, more hands-on are happening, and it's like you can't graduate without having your clinical hours. And that's something that's very advanced, because it makes them like realize like the real life more than like, yes, they're under training, but they're knowing what the real life is going to look like instead of just the theoretical way.
When you followed with the youth conferences taking place in Egypt, especially, there were not only for Egypt, for Egyptians, but also gathering different cultures and nationalities. Tell us more about the impact of this when you just read about it while being in the States, and tell us more about how it was perceived by your colleagues as well.
I was definitely so proud that we were able to gather people from over the country with all different religions, cultures, backgrounds, traditions, and everything. It was just such an overwhelming, nice feeling, like, wow, like, look at us. And then when a lot of people read about it, and we all talked about it in school and stuff, and everyone was like, we were not expecting that, but, you know, look at us now, we did it.
So, talking with the American youth, how do they see so far the Egyptian youth?
Well, there is the stereotype of Egypt, like, oh, you just go to school with camels and stuff, but I feel that this has changed.
Do they still have this?
No, it was a stereotype that they used to have, but now they look at like colleges in Egypt, like, wow, they're nicer than the ones we have there. Wow, like, they have more opportunities here. In our age there, we don't have as much internships that we could do, or as much opportunities at our young age, volunteering or whatever it could be, as there is here.
How do you see the concept of having all these international universities taking place here in Egypt, in the new administrative capital and all around Egypt? How do you see this?
It's really nice that all those countries decided to have a part in Egypt and decided to invest in Egypt and trust Egypt with all its information and all its like curriculums and stuff. So it's really nice, and how like whatever college, international college, they transfer students and they do international students. So our Egyptian students, they go abroad for a semester or for a year, and those other students from whichever country, they could come to Egypt and they could experience it. So I feel that that's such a good experience for all sides.
What are you studying?
I'm studying biology, pre-medicine.
Right. So, talking about you as an Egyptian ambassador.
Okay.
So, for sure, there are points that you talk about and you present our, the way we are thinking, the real image of Egypt. Tell us more about any of the, your experience in this in general, or any of the events that took place that you can recall so far.
In Egypt?
No, in the States, of course, while being in the States, because you are over there, the Egyptian who is presenting Egypt in the university.
Like, yeah. Well, in college, right? Okay, so like
wherever.
We have a lot of events that happen, mostly in college, and they're like each person represents their own country, or you know. So I was very proud, and I'm always super proud to present that I'm Egyptian, and it's always everyone is like, wow, you're Egyptian, like you live in front of the pyramids, like, you know. So I mean, it's such a, I feel so proud.
And I think they are studying over there some items about ancient
Egypt,
right?
Egyptology, yeah. It's a huge, it's a huge part of not most, but like some colleges, and there are a bunch of Egyptian, there's an Egyptian museum somewhere there. It's super nice. It's all about Egypt there.
So first you are talking about the Grand Egyptian Museum, because of course, right? So when we talk about the entrepreneurs and just as you mentioned, the young people in general, so from your own point of view, what are the main challenges they are facing?
Well, I mean, obviously, well, one major thing that they're facing is like having to stand on business and show, yes, I'm here, yes, I have ideas to prove, or like, yes, I have a point that I need it to get through. And then I feel like another point is now like the challenge between the youth and some the older people, or the older generation, that some older generations are not accepting these youth people. Yeah, and they're not accepting that, oh, we're just on the same page right now.
So it is the ongoing gap between generations. So is it the same in the United States? Yeah,
kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't really know, but it's kind of, yeah.
So when we talk about the concept of sustainability, again, because we're talking about, just as you mentioned, young people having their own business or starting a business, for sure the sustainability is going to be one of the main challenges as well. So do you think the preparations of the youth, starting from early age, can help in this respect?
Yeah, 100%, because it prepares them with all the what ifs. What if that happens? What if that happens? It kind of mentally prepares them that you can fail, but you'll still succeed in the end of the day. Like, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have some huge challenges, but in the end of the day, you can win. You can have your success. And a bunch of people now who have their startups or have their own businesses, they come out on the media and they say, oh, we failed a bunch of times, but look where we are right now.
So you mean, how do they take benefit of this failure to start again? So the concept of never to give up, or the persistence and to continue, just to learn from the previous experience. So far, is this working with all the youth? I mean, or some of them still they will give up so far?
It's definitely, it won't work with everyone. Some people just would give up. But I mean, it's just part of learning. Like, you'll learn, yeah, you give up, but then at some point you would have to get up and have to finish what you're doing.
So, of course, we wish you the best of luck in your studying. Aliaa, Mohamed, Abdel, Hamid, one of our youth living in the United States. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And with this, we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.